and welcome to this week's update. Hopefully a quick one, but I've done an awful lot on the Tomcat and looking forward to showing you actually. But before we start, obviously on that channel update, the final part of the Armour Hobby Hurricane goes up this Sunday at 1800. Now what time? 1800 local time I think. Or I might have done it 1800 UK time. I can't remember. Anyway, 1800 somewhere in the world, the final part of the Hurricane goes up. That's going to deal with the weathering. And I've had quite a lot of feedback on the weathering, so I'm hoping people are going to like it because it goes into quite some depth on how I achieved that layered finish, all the different layers culminating in that final result. So I hope you're going to like that one. After that, I'm going to start uploading the Tomcat videos, which again I'm looking forward to. But the Tomcat, here it is. It's painted, it's weathered. All I've got to do is just add all the little bits. So all the undercarriage is painted, that's down there. All the ordnance is down there, all those bits. What I'm going to do next though, and this is when I'm going to be back, because I'm going to work tomorrow for 4 days, is I'm going to do all the little sticky out bits around the nose. So the pitot, the AOA probes, all the other little sticky out bits, the ladders, they're all going to go on. And then it'll be the ordnance undercarriage, canopy, halas, as they say here, finished. I'm really pleased with how the weathering has turned out. I've gone to town, but actually when you look at some photos, even though this is heavily weathered, it's by no means the worst. There are plenty more out there, but I'm really hoping that the camera is picking up all the nuances in the finish, because I'm extremely pleased with how that's turned out and how the weathering's turned out. Just the oil and grime effects are really prominent on this thing, and I'm just so pleased. It's such a shame it's not my model, and I've got to give it away. But I say give it away, sell it. But my friend is paying me. But anyway, that's an aside. Notable things about the paint on this one, what I've done is all the main markings are sprayed. And the decals actually are Fighter Town decals. Yeah, I had to go and check them. Fighter Town decals, and they are superb. Really pleased with how they went down. But yeah, overall lovely. Now, really sort of complicated wings, but check this out. Ugh, they come off. Which is going to be good for bringing this beauty home. Also, the fins, they're not glued on yet. Tailplanes, they're on polycaps. And that leaves us with this, which is really good actually when you're working on it, trying to weather it. It's really a handy size. So the whole thing is modular. And the fit is beautiful, as you can imagine. So much so, I'm thinking, do I glue the tailplanes on when I take it back home, which is in a couple of weeks? I don't know. It depends what box I've got to bring it back in at the end of the day, but we'll see. But the focus over the last couple of days has been painting and weathering that thing, and I've loved every second of it. I think it's been fantastic. Looking forward to getting back to the World War II models though. More of that coming up in the next couple of weeks. Okay, questions. I've had a couple of questions in. I'm going to endeavour to answer them now. One of them, what I do is I'll reply and then I'll go into a little bit more depth now. One of the questions I haven't actually done the tippy tappy because it was sent to me as a PM. And it's quite long, but I will do that. It's just when I've got time. Okay, let's bring it up on the old phone. Right, the plastic modeler asks, what software hardware did you use to create the masks? As I said, the masks, here's remnants of one sheet here. So they were designed in Affinity Studio 2, and I paid for the extra add-on, which was about £65, because you need that, because you need to save it in as an SVT file, which you can't do in the normal free version. So that was that one, and then I use a Silhouette Portrait 3. Took a little bit of calibration, which friend of the channel Nige helped me with, but we got there in the end, and yeah, it's just amazing because it's just opened up a whole new world of possibilities for me. Loving that. Right, Neil Micklethwaite asks, am I going to do a special on the Silhouette printer? It looks a nice piece of kit. It is. Worth the cost in your humble opinion? Yes, it is. Yeah, he likes the finish of my kits. I'm not going to blow my own trumpet here, even though it's my channel, and I can if I want to. There's a song in there somewhere, isn't it? Right, the Silhouette Portrait, yes. It was, how much did I pay for it? It was, whatever Google it, RRP, not massively expensive, about 150 quid, I think, off the top of my head. Plus then another 60 odd, 70 quid for the Affinity 2 software. And then I had to buy an extra software add-on for the Silhouette software that comes with the portrait cutter. So the whole thing, probably about 250 to 300 quid, which sounds a hell of a lot of money, and it is, but it means that the world is my oyster. And when you consider that's probably the cost of a very nice airbrush, but given the possibilities it can sort of unleash, I think it's well worth it. So if you can afford to get one, definitely. Now, am I going to do a tutorial? Yes, I am. I just need to work out how to film the screen. If I can film the screen, if I can work out how to do that, then I'm definitely going to do it. But if anyone's got any ideas, let me know. Right. Neil, I hope that answers your questions. Right, so this is a long one. Now, oh crikey, I haven't saved the name on it, so apologies, but just watched the first part of the Hurricane painting and it's generated a few questions. One was going to ask if painting the markings was better before the camouflage or after, but I spotted that you ended up doing both. Right, that's the first part of the question. So yes. Some people paint the camouflage and then paint the markings on top of the camouflage. I like to, rather than do that, I like to do a layered approach. And the way I do it is to minimise the risk of any sort of ghost hairline overspray that you can get if the mask isn't perfectly sort of lined up. And the way I do that, if you haven't seen the video, if you've seen the video, go and watch it, because you'll know exactly how I do it. But I'll paint the sort of the white and the yellow and the red areas first. I'll layer the masks up. What I do when I design the masks is I'll cut circles out that will cover up any joins in the masks. Same for if I'm going to do German, I did use tape. When I do a German one, I'm going to use I'm going to design actual masks that will line up and cover the joins in the markings. So I do that, so it's a layered approach, and then what I tend to do is leave the dark blue until the end, because what you don't want is a kind of pre-shading effect. So what you'll see in the previous episode of the Hurricane is once I've done the white, the yellow and the red, and I've got it protected, is I'll spray white or grey over the overspray of the colours, because I don't want any pre-shading effect at all. And MRP, the dark earth, is notorious for being very thin and needing quite a few coats to build it up. So I want to completely obliterate the any sort of that sort of pre-shading effect, which is obviously unwanted from the colours on the markings. So that's why I do it that way around. Right, post shading. How much do you lighten or darken the original shade and how far do you thin it? I tried on an F16 aggressor scheme I'm finishing for my son and I couldn't see the effect after I was done. Tried again with better results, but was wondering if there's a common starting point you then adjusted from. What I tend to do is, with post shading, is lay down a solid colour. And I then just add a lighter tone. Now that is not necessarily white, it could be a grey, it could be a yellow, certainly a case on greens. I use a yellow, others you get a kind of chalky effect and it just washes out all the colour, you lose the saturation, so I use yellow and greens. A red for brown, for example, all sorts of different tones, and I just lighten it up a bit, but what I tend to do is exaggerate it. And I exaggerate it because I'm going to put down varnish layers, I'm going to put down filters, oils, all sorts of weathering effects over the top, which tends to blend everything together. So if you exaggerate it, then you can, when you do the subsequent layers, hopefully you'll still see the effect. If the subsequent weathering layers are a little bit too prominent, then I'll go back in after the weathering and add a little bit more. And it's a backwards and forwards process until I get what I'm after for. I can't even speak, it's late, I need to go to bed. You get the gist. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just look up the name of the chap who sent the question in. Andrew Gilbert. Andrew, I hope that answers your question. I will write something for you in due course. Right, so that's questions. News. No new kits. But the Trumpeter Fulmer has landed. It's with Andy Antics. You may have seen, I put up a picture on the Facebook channel. Very excited about that. I've got a specific scheme in mind, which I'm going to do the stencils for myself, and really looking forward to that. Don't know what it's going to be like. I'm going to bring it back with me. I'm going to do a sprue tour on it, and I'm going to build it on the channel, and I'm looking forward to starting. Accuracy wise, no idea. The internet was very quiet over the hurricane, so maybe Trumpeter have turned a corner and British subjects are not, you know, are not too bad accuracy wise. We shall see. So yeah, that's the news on that front. Now Edward put out a in their latest newsletter a bit of a cryptic clue as to what's coming next year. And they mentioned 1/72 scale. Fans of 1/72 scale are going to be very pleased. They also said and 1/48 scale. We kind of know what's coming out in 48th with the P40 series and the Stuka. Maybe, probably not actually going to see the Avia S199 in 48th, which is a real shame. Really looking forward to that. But that's 48th. Maybe there's going to be a surprise announced in there that we don't know about. I'm hoping so. Who knows what that's going to be. But the little teaser of 72nd scale has got me really thinking. Now, what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to go through now what I think it might be, because I have no clue. We know the rest of the 1 in 9 series is coming out. The G6 is out in January, and I'm going to get that as well. I think it's probably a G5/G6 dual boxing. So looking forward to getting that. That'll be when I come home in Ramadan in March, but I'm definitely going to get that as well. But yeah, who knows? Fans of 1/72 scale, of which I'm a massive one, we're gonna get some new stuff from Edward. Who knows what it is? So I think what I'll do is I'm going to go and do a separate video on that, and you know, throw out what I'd like to see, what I think it might be, what I'm hoping for, and who knows. But I'll maybe record that in the week or a little bit later. It's been a really busy week, so I've got stuff waiting to be edited. I just really need to get the F14 done so I can take it home with me at Christmas, because my friend has been waiting quite a long time for it, and I don't want to delay it any more than I have to, because if I can't take it home at Christmas, it's got to wait till March. But there we are, and I've got a house move coming up out here in Saudi, and yeah, I don't want things to get wrecked when I do that. There we are, 50 minutes, not bad this week, helped I think by, yeah, we're pretty light on the news front, aren't we? There we are. Right, so I'm going to go to bed now. By the time you get this, it'll be the next day. Yeah, look out in the week for some more content. Chat stuff about Edouard, and maybe continuing the series. I say this every week. My favourite kits, but hopefully if I can get that thing done, I'll have some editing time left. There we are. Thanks very much, guys. I'll see you soon. Cheers. Bye-bye.